Emirates is one of the world's most expensive and sought-after business class products. It's one I've reviewed countless times at this point, and every time I fly it, I seem to change my opinion somewhat. Today is no exception as we take a journey from Southeast Asia to Europe via Dubai on Emirates' brand new A350 and then their iconic A380, so we can see how the business class experience has changed on the world's most profitable airline. If you've never seen me before, hi, I'm Dan, and I'm fortunate to live my AvGeek dream of reviewing airlines full time. I've flown over 200 airline premium products in the almost 12 years that I've been doing this. My reviews are always self-funded with no airline involvement unless I disclose it so that I can share my honest experience with you guys. Today we start out in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, one of the cheapest markets to fly Emirates from. I booked this one-way ticket to Frankfurt for $1,800 per person with a free stopover in Dubai, chauffeur service, and lounge access. Not the cheapest, so I'll get into better ways to save on Emirates business later on in the video. For now, here she is, our gorgeous Airbus A350. She and Emirates really go together well, in my opinion. This will be my second business class flight on the Emirates A350, and oh boy am I excited to see how my impressions are on a daytime 7-hour flight. On the inside, the Emirates A350-900 has 32 business class seats in a staggered configuration. The best seats will be those by the windows in the even-numbered rows, or if you're traveling with someone else, the lovely honeymoon seats in the odd-numbered rows. Today I'm in my favorite seat at the back so no one is bothered by my recording, with OSKAR right in front of me. There is one dedicated lavatory in business and then two that are shared with premium economy, so it's hard to get a definitive lavatory ratio, but to be conservative, we could say it's 1 per 32 passengers, or if we wanted to add premium economy into the mix, which is more fair, 1 per 17 passengers. With that, let's hop on board. We are greeted by the door of our A350 and pointed to our seats where a smiling crew member on her first month of working business class is awaiting. There is no denying that this is a stunning cabin. Emirates really nails glitz and glamour, and it's always fun to see people's reactions when they walk by because I guess that means Emirates did something right. A headrest reminiscent of a Mercedes luxury car that is oh so soft, and individual air vents even for the center seats installed below the entertainment screen. Extremely rare and extremely cool. The cheerful crew comes by offering a choice of pre-departure drinks. We can choose between champagne, orange juice, or a healthy vitality boost. Emirates is quirky because almost all their business class seats have this little onboard bar with a few drinks and snacks waiting at your seat. It's a total gimmick since you can really order whatever you want from the crew at any time, but I love having water nearby and it just looks super cool. We've also got lightning fast USB-C charging on the A350 and an AC power outlet conveniently placed to your side. All Emirates aircraft also feature a separate tablet that you can detach and use to view the in-flight map or control the in-flight entertainment system. Right before we push back, the crew come around handing out hot towels. Yeah. We all love an empty flight as passengers, and today's A350 has less than 100 people on board. No wonder this route is cheap. Boarding is done early, meaning we push back early and line up for takeoff a minute after our scheduled departure. I love that, and oh, do I love the A350 wing. Okay guys, welcome on board Emirates 365. It's giving 365 party girl, 365 flying man is what I am. So we've got an amenity kit, which I'm very surprised by because normally Emirates does not give amenity kits on daytime flights. We took off at 5 and we're supposed to land at around 9 p.m. So maybe they consider this an overnight flight in some way, even though it's not, but we get an amenity kit. We also have slippers and eye masks. I'm going to show you everything. So let's dive right in. So let's unbox the amenity kit quickly because it's pretty universally agreed. I would say that Emirates has the best business class amenities in the world. world, at least in terms of what you get. So we have deodorant, we have a shaving cream, Bulgari wood essence aftershave balm. We have Bulgari body lotion. Of course, it's all man, because body lotion that doesn't say man on it is not manly enough for men. Bulgari lip balm, Bulgari men wood essence eau de parfum. So we actually get a 5 ml perfume from Bulgari, even in business class. Then we have our Gillette razor. I like to see a branded razor, even though these are not Gillette's best. Not the best a man can get. Is that Gillette? I think so. A dental kit. And finally, we're not even close to done here. Earplugs. We have got a comb, the best type of comb, and a packet of tissues. Thank you, Emirates. Tissues, such an underrated thing to have in an amenity kit. That's it. Again, these are not offered on most Emirates flights, so if you're on a daytime flight that isn't over 9 hours, assume you won't get one, but be positively surprised if you do. What you will always get, at least, is this slipper and eye mask set. A lot of Emirates flights offer additional amenities in the lavatory, which, speaking of, are gorgeous, clean, and modern. We've even got a pedal for the trash can. While I'm in the lavatory, the crew puts Emirates' thick, juicy mattress pad on the seat, which is offered after takeoff on almost all flights. The one thing I really don't like on the Emirates A350 is this plastic pillowcase. From what I hear, it's being replaced, and that couldn't happen soon enough, in my opinion. Okay, one more thing we might as well have a look at while we still have daylight is the Emirates A350 Bed that somehow became controversial. Last time I flew this, we departed at like midnight. My body clock, I sleep on my side, so I did not register that there would be any width problem whatsoever. So let's see if that's the case. So I can totally see what people mean when they say this is annoying, because your arms have to go in underneath these armrests since they don't go down. So you're kind of boxed in. It feels a bit weird, but to me, sleeping on my back always feels weird. So I feel like I'm not really qualified to comment on this, but as a side sleeper, then it's comfortable. Then I don't struggle with the width. I don't mind these being here. Of course, if you were able to lower them, that would be good. But yeah, you have the air vents, you have the mattress pad. The only thing that's missing as a side sleeper is a real cotton pillowcase. One of my favorite things about Emirates is that you can view the menu for your flight online in advance. To be honest, as a foodie, I do use these menus to guide which flights I book and when I book them. A little over the top, I know. And today, we obviously have Ho Chi Minh catering, which will turn out to be quite surprising. The one thing we cannot preview online is the wine list, so here is a look at that. We've got Veuve Clicquot, a close partner of Emirates, and then red wines, white wines, port wine, etc. The way Emirates formats their menus just makes them feel so extensive and like there are so many options. Keep in mind there is not dine on demand here in theory, although I found that on M-tier flights, if you ask the crew to eat at a later time, they're sometimes happy to oblige, but it is completely at their discretion. As I wait for the meal, I browse Emirates Ice, which I've got to say is the best airline entertainment system in the world. It's now even better on the A350 with Bluetooth headphone connectivity, yay for that, and I randomly stumble across Whiplash, which I've never watched before, but oh my god, what an incredible movie. Eventually, I'm finally served an olive plate, a nut plate loaded with pistachios, and the crown jewel, of course, lemon mint. About an hour after takeoff, my appetizer is served, and in business class, Emirates always serves their meals on trays. This high-protein mock meat and sesame oil bean sprout salad is phenomenal. As the sun sets on our gorgeous engine and winglet outside, the crew come around with my main course. Emirates has started crew plating their meals in business class, but I have to say I don't really think you can tell. The presentation is not very premium and not very nice most of the time, so to me this is a clear area for improvement. At the end of the day, it's the flavors that are important though, and again, yum. Finally, the meal wraps up with a beautiful fruit plate and a slice of tasty passion fruit cake. I spend the rest of the flight working on the fast free Wi-Fi for Skywards members. Not lightning fast, but fast enough, and it probably helps that there are so few people on board. Before we land, there's one essential thing I always do since my little incident in Kuwait earlier this year, which is to make sure I have cell phone data on my phone, but not through my home provider, which will overcharge me so much it hurts. Instead, I use today's video sponsor Saily, one of the best and most affordable eSIM options, where you choose the country or region you're traveling to, or you can even get a global pass. You choose how much data you want, you buy it, install it once on your phone, and then you can keep topping it up wherever you travel, so you never run out of data and you can stay connected wherever you travel. Saily also has a built-in VPN and ad blocker, and sometimes I get questions from you guys saying, Dane, do you really use the companies that sponsor your videos? Let me show you this. These are all the transactions I've completed with Saily this year alone. It is an essential travel tool for me. I don't know how people travel without data and eSIMs these days. So check Saily out now at the QR code right here or at the link at the top of the description and use code NonstopDane to save 15% on your first eSIM. We touched down in Dubai ahead of schedule and taxied to gate C2. Needless to say, it's not difficult to get your steps in at DXB when arriving at the C gates. Bye-bye A350, let's go fly your big sibling, the A380.
The next day.
Good morning. It is 7 a.m. It's a new day. Are you ready for a 6.5 hour flight up to Frankfurt? Before we head to the aircraft, Oscar and I quickly stopped by the lounge, which, let me say this. Don't pay extra for a higher fare class just to get lounge access when flying Emirates. This isn't really my favorite place to spend time at this time of day, but later during the day it can get a bit quieter and a bit more pleasant. We won't dwell here. Let's head straight to the gate and board our king of the skies. The Emirates A380 has the same seat structure as the A350, with the cabin divided into two sections, a massive forward section, and then a smaller rear section, which is actually where I prefer to sit because the front section is just so big, you lose any sense of privacy or intimacy. My number one recommendation for seats on this entire aircraft in business are seats 23 Alpha and 23 Kilo, since they are in odd-numbered rows, meaning they're closer to the windows, but they're also bulkheads, giving you more space by your feet and even more privacy. When we booked, the only options left for me and Oscar were 25 Alpha for him and 26 Bravo for me, which is a seat I've flown in several times, and although it's closer to the bar, which I would find annoying on an overnight flight, I've personally never been bothered by the noise. A lot of the same seating rules apply here as on the A350, but the main point, as you can tell, is that these seats are basically the same as on the A350 and reconfigured 777. There are 4 lavatories in business class on Emirates A380 for a ratio of 19:1, and they're all the way at the back, which can be quite a trek if you're seated in the forward cabin, but okay, khalas, let's board. We're leaving from the same gate where I surprised my mom with Emirates first class. You guys should check out that video. It's even more fun than this. Today we're on the most common Emirates A380 type, the 3 class model, meaning it features their older looking cabins. As you can tell, the seat is very similar to the A350 though, and almost as comfortable. The benefit of being on the A380 upper deck is these massive storage bins along the side. Oh, I'm gonna miss this iconic plane so much when it's gone. The coolest standout feature that everyone goes crazy over is, of course, the bar at the back of the plane. It's always located at the very back of the aircraft on Emirates A380s, and it is a really fun place to socialize, especially with the crew. It gives you a chance to get to know them a bit better or get to know your fellow passengers a bit better. The crew are always happy to serve drinks here, take some photos of you, or you can just sit here and chill because they have seat belts along the sides here. As I settle into my seat, I opt for a Vitality Boost welcome drink and, of course, a hot towel. The A350 tail camera is so iconic and so appreciated, so fun to use, but at this point, it feels like we've still got a 2010 flip camera taped up there after getting off the A350 with its crystal clear cameras. We push back, and after waiting behind a bunch of other A380s, does it get any better than this? We blast off toward Frankfurt. I have naturally checked the menu beforehand on this flight as well. So now, here's your look. The selection of drinks is slightly different from the previous leg, which is a good thing for variety. Alright guys, it is breakfast time. I'd say we took off about an hour ago. And here's the thing that Emirates does very differently from most other airlines in this region. They serve 2 meals on their flights to Europe that depart in the morning. They serve breakfast first, which is actually a very small meal, and then they serve lunch before landing. While on Qatar, you get your big meal whenever you want because they have dine on demand, but there's only 1 meal and then maybe some snacks. So now we get this beautiful, massive fruit plate, a lot better than you get on most airlines, but I'm really hungry, so we're gonna need to grab some snacks and back. Soy yogurt, very nice. This is part of my special meal. And then we got some, I guess, oat kind of thing. So let's dig in. I reviewed this exact flight 2 years ago and was served this breakfast back in 2023. In comparison, this breakfast feels a bit like a downgrade, no? The key is to not board these breakfast flights hungry. Luckily, I always bring a few protein bars, and there are some snacks available in the galley, such as this wrap. After the meal service, we get to enjoy the typical Emirates Polaroid rounds, which is always a great way to capture memories from your flight. And I've got to say, our collection is getting quite big at this point, which is really fun. I spend the next few hours working, and in the meantime, the crew offers to make the bed for me in the seat next to mine. Again, the mattress pad, the individual air vents, and since we're not on the A350, nice pillow, make this a really comfy place to sleep, even though I'd prefer to be on one of the seats further from the aisle like OSKAR is. In other words, the odd-numbered rows. Just like on the A350, the lavatories on the A380 are decked out with Emirates' signature style. They even offer cotton hand towels in here, which is pretty rare for business class. Before I know it, it's time for the pre-landing meal, and this is where things get slightly more fun. On Emirates, every meal service in business starts with a choice of olives or nuts or both, and a drink. I love the rose iced tea on Emirates. Of course, you also have to get the lemon mint, but if you like rose flavored stuff, you gotta try this. There's also something to be said for if you're not gonna have dine on demand, it's actually most logical to serve the main big meal before landing on a flight like this, because in Emirates network, so many people are connecting from Asia or Australia. So a lot of them have just taken an overnight flight. They might be tired and still want to sleep a bit. My appetizer is the Arabic meze, where again, the presentation isn't exactly luxurious. The best part on Emirates is always their focaccia, so make sure to try some the next time you fly them out of Dubai. As I'm eating, the crew walk by with a few mains on a tray they're about to serve, and I ask if I can have a, quote, photo of that. Voila. Did Emirates see my Etihad video and go, okay, we can give up now, or what is going on? I will try this and give it the benefit of the doubt. Again, I judge this meal based on the presentation, so clearly this is an area where there is work to be done. At least it tastes decent, but good taste and good presentation can coexist. The one place Emirates always delivers is with their desserts. First with this chocolate pecan cake that is very common on Emirates and delicious every single time, and then my special meal dessert in addition to that, which although slightly more unassuming is just as tasty. At this point, we're given another round of hot towels, and then OSKAR sneaks back to the bar where they have set up what I normally think of as the first class snack basket with this gorgeous selection of Arabic sweets. With that, we start our descent into Frankfurt, touching down right on schedule. If you stayed this long, you are in for the best little nuggets of the whole video. So I want to quickly talk about the service, because on the first flight, I have to give a shout out to the crew. I'm so devastated I didn't get their names. I don't know what I was thinking, but the new business class flight attendant who was taking care of me in my seat was so enthusiastic and so sweet, and the person on that flight was amazing. Welcomed us on board by name at our seats, said goodbye, and thanked everyone for flying with Emirates at their seats as well, asking for feedback about the flight. On the second flight, they just were not at all on the level of the crew on the first flight. But obviously, you have to manage your expectations somewhat. You guys noticed that I was quite critical of the meals on these flights, right? At least the presentation. And that's the thing. It ultimately comes down to the fact that Emirates business class, as I've said, in almost every review I've made of this product, which is a lot at this point, It's not about luxury. Of course, it's super luxurious compared to economy, but compared to a lot of other airlines, Emirates business class does not feel especially premium. To me, what Emirates is, and I say this all the time, is fun. And that's why I'm drawn to fly with them, even if the food is not as beautifully presented on some other airlines, because the flavors are good. There's something about the vibe that I really enjoy that keeps me coming back. You're gonna notice that my next review is a Qatar Airways business class review, and I'm intentionally posting these back to back so that you guys can see the differences, and then after that, there might be a video comparing the two, so you'll get to see which do I prefer, or can you even compare them? As I mentioned, this flight was of course self-funded. I paid about $1,800 for this ticket. Emirates wasn't informed I was gonna be on board, and they had no involvement with these reviews as usual. Now here's the thing, Emirates business is usually not very affordable, especially if traveling to or from Dubai. Now Emirates has really tried to make it as difficult as possible for anyone to save money on their tickets in any way, but there are still a few ways. After everything Emirates has tried to do, there are still a few ways to save on their business class, where using a few loopholes, you can fly between Dubai and Europe for about $900 to $1,000 each way, depending on the route, which is not cheap at all, but Emirates business is never cheap. And of course, I teach you how to do that in my Points Master program, which is turning 2 years soon, but more on that later. I've taught thousands of people just like you how to fly premium for so much less than retail prices. And the best part is it works without needing to use credit card points, so you can do this wherever you live in the world. If you've thought about checking out my Points Master program, stay tuned, because there are some exciting things coming to that as well. You can learn more at the QR code right here or at the link at the top of the description. And I have started making hotel reviews recently, which I am loving so much. My most recent one was a review of the Rosewood Bangkok, a very, very interesting stay at one of Bangkok's finest hotels. You can check that out right now by clicking the link below in the description or the card that pops up on screen. And until I see you guys in the next video, as always, fly safe.